Let's get more on this from Joe Macaron, who is a fellow at the Arab Center here in Washington. He joins us from Arlington, Virginia. Joe, we really appreciate you being with us. Other than the usual chorus of condemnation, is there any country right now that is willing to step in and mediate this?
I mean, it doesn't look that there's not a lot of indications, but there was some reports that Russia may broker a meeting between U.S. officials and the Palestinian officials, maybe in Geneva. It was not confirmed yet, but many news outlets have reported that there might be an attempt to do that. But otherwise, I don't see a real effort. We are in a very pivotal moment now. This will change the dynamic of the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Unlike previous decision by Trump, which is the Golan Heights and recognizing Jerusalem, this decision has implications on the ground. So there will be a real effort of maybe restoring the quartet, the international and the Arab quartet. But we are now in two countries, basically Israel and the U.S., playing for the domestic politics more than international and regional stability.
And Joe, you touched on this just a little bit right there, which is the fact that we have heard some condemnation from Arab leaders, including Jordan's King Abdullah II, who said last week that Israel was on course for a massive conflict. What does that look like?
I mean, for Jordan is a existential issue. What will happen? They have Palestinians in Jordan. This will have a very clear impact on the stability of Jordan on the long term. For other Arab leaders, they've been talking under the table basically, and over the table also with the Israeli over the last 2 years, in an attempt to establish a front against Iran, which is the priority of most of the Arab countries at this stage, not Israel. But now it's interesting to see if this will change the dynamics, if we'll see over the coming weeks Saudi Arabia and the UAE and others start to basically speak up. But I doubt it, because their priority remain is Iran. So we will see if the Arab pressure on the U.S. will convince Trump to maybe back away, put some brakes on this Israeli move. But we don't see any indications yet. After the trip of Pompeo to Israel last week, we didn't see a really some break on this policy, but we'll have to see. I mean, it's a very important moment for those Arab leaders to see what they will do in the coming weeks.
Joe, we have already seen a strong reaction and response from the Palestinian leadership. Mahmoud Abbas announced that the Palestinian leadership would be canceling its agreements with not just the United States, but also Israel, which includes security cooperation. How significant is that, and what do you think the strategy is going forward for Palestinians?
I mean, I don't think they have a credible strategy, unfortunately. The Palestinian leadership is very weak. Mahmoud Abbas, yes, he said that we cannot stop the cooperation, but he didn't put a real roadmap how he will do that. Stopping the cooperation with Israel will hurt a lot the Palestinian Authority, and a lot of Israeli security establishment warned from this step, because this will change the dynamic. This will lead to intifada, will make weaker the Palestinian security officials. So they have limited options. He has a crisis at home. They have this division between Gaza and the West Bank. So there's nothing else he can do if there's no real Arab support behind him from Saudi Arabia, from the main countries, basically to signal a veto for the U.S. or pressure on the American side that we will not, continue like that. But so far, we didn't see this pressure. So I think the Palestinians at this point, have little option to make unless, we have an intifada and then we go into another new dynamic, which was put the pressure on the Israeli, on everyone. And I don't think the scenario is they want in Israel or even in Washington.
Joe Macaron with the Arab Center here in Washington. We really appreciate you being with us. Thanks for that.